If you feel like your subwoofer from your soundbar is sounding a little weak, hang tight. I'm gonna give you a couple of tips to give that thing a little bit more rumble. Hey boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of New Stuff TV. I'm your host, Antoine, turn it all the way up to 11 Richardson because today we're going to be talking about the Samsung QS700F soundbar. So the QS700F is a 3.1.2 soundbar. For those of y'all who don't actually know what that means, let me go ahead and just take a moment to break it down for you. The 3 represents how many speakers are actually firing at your ear holes, with a left, a right, and a center speaker, which we call the center channel. The 1 represents how many subwoofers it has. So in this case, you get one wireless 6.5-inch subwoofer, so you can actually put it anywhere you want to in the room as long as you got an outlet close by. And the 2 is special because it represents how many up-firing speakers you get for Dolby Atmos, so you can hear stuff flying around overhead like helicopters and planes. So I just broke all that stuff down for you because when I went out and bought my first soundbar, I had no idea what those numbers meant. So I ended up buying one with no center channel. And let me tell you, man, I could not get that thing to sound quite right, especially with the dialogue. So I just figured I need to break that down for you so you can know what you're getting into. But you won't have to worry about any of that with the QS700F for a couple of reasons. I just told you about the center channel speaker, but if you got a current Samsung TV like this S90F OLED back here, it has Q-Symphony built in. And what that means is the soundbar and the TV get to talk to each other, and then the TV acts as the center channel, or actually helps out. It combines itself with the center channel of the soundbar, and it uses the speakers from the TV to act as your center channel, and then you get much better performance with the dialogue and stuff when you're watching your content. Now, as far as the rest of those front speakers go, they do a really good job at all the heavy lifting when it comes to background music and surround effects like vehicles moving across the screen, or even rounds flying all over the place when you're watching action movies. Now, Samsung slapped 2 up-firing speakers in the QS700F to give you that Dolby Atmos experience. So let's go ahead and talk about whether they live up to the expectation or not. Spoiler alert, they do, but don't get it twisted. Let's get this straight. Nothing is actually gonna beat true physical down-firing speakers aiming down from your ceiling to give you that true Atmos effect. But the QS700F does a pretty good job at lobbing the sounds at you, bouncing them off the ceiling and the walls to create a nice bubble of sound that makes you feel good about what you got going on. Now, as a little side note, since its release, I've avoided watching Hobbs & Shaw because it had Dwayne Johnson in it, and I needed a break because he was in damn near everything that came out during the time period. But I was scrolling through Netflix looking for something like a big action movie to watch and test this soundbar out with, and then it came up in my Netflix feed and I was like, ugh. The time has come. Surprisingly, it was so good that halfway through the movie, I ordered it on 4K UHD so I could watch it again later on my main setup. Now, the third act was completely forced and unnecessary, but overall, I really did think the movie was great. A lot of that is due to the sound that was coming out of the QS700F. The movie had all kinds of scenes where objects panned across the screen and overhead, but that thump and rumble from the subwoofer is what really brought it all home for me. So this subwoofer managed to catch every boom from a hard punch or a gunshot, and even every rumble from the explosion. It really performed great because it's a great sub. But if you feel like your subwoofer from your soundbar is sounding a little weak, hang tight. I'm gonna give you a couple of tips to give that thing a little bit more rumble. First, let's get into the obvious and get into that SmartThings app. Find your QS700F, click on the subwoofer button, and slide that bass up a notch or 2. And if that don't work, the secret sauce is gonna be the actual placement of the sub. My recommendation is to find a corner of the room and place it with the speaker facing toward the room about 6 to 12 inches away from the corner. Try this in every corner of the room because all of them might sound different from each other, and you definitely want to find that sweet spot that gives you that nice thump. And if you end up getting a little bit too much punch out of your subwoofer, you can try 2 things. Go back into that SmartThings app and turn it down a notch or 2, or you can go back to the physical sub and move it just a little bit further away from the wall until you get it where you want it. Now, the QS700F sounds like a solid home theater once you get it all set up. But if you want to drop a few more coins and get an even more immersive experience, I left you a link in the description to check out the SWA9500S wireless rear speaker so you can have Dolby Atmos in the back too. Now, it wouldn't be a Samsung product if it didn't include a few special features. Now, I've got mine mounted on a tabletop right under my TV, but if you wall mount your TV with the included bracket for the soundbar, you can mount that bad boy flush on the wall under your TV for a nice super clean look. And of course, like every other soundbar, you can connect it to the TV via HDMI. But if you want a super duper clean setup and look, it can also be set to work wirelessly with your Samsung TV. Now, if you've been hanging around this channel for a while, you should already know that I love watching movies and shows with lots of action and big moments. So my pictures gotta look real clean, right? But my sound's gotta be hitting too. I've been using the Samsung S90F OLED for a few days, but Samsung was nice enough to send over this QS700F along with it. I guess they just knew how good of a pairing they would be with each other. So at this point I can say if you're looking to upgrade your sound without violating your bank account, the QS700F is a solid option, especially if you already own a Samsung TV. Hey guys, every time y'all stop by, it's a damn good time, but it's time for y'all to roll up out of here. But before you go, do me a solid and lean hard on that like button, man. Keep being good to each other, and I'll see you when I see you.